So good morning friends. In continuation with our part 3 of chapter number 2, functions of the central bank. In continuation of that, I am starting with Asian economic crisis of 1997. In the previous lecture, I have explained you about the 1930 Great Depression in detail. So today we will discuss about Asian economic crisis of 1997. So friends, I have written here on this page. So you just go through it. So before that, what I am telling to you, that is much important. You listen to it first. So you will understand in in a story way. I will also explain you in a story way only. So you will understand what was exactly the Asian economic crisis. After listening this video, then you go through the whatever notes I have written. You go through it once, so you will easily understand it. See, central banking, I will tell you, it's more about concept. I mean 60% concept and 40% objectivity is there. I will tell you where we need to remember. But in these concepts, we don't need to remember anything. Just you need to understand what was the causes of economic crisis. That is most important. What happened exactly that led to crisis. That is I am going to explain in this video. So, Asian economic crisis of 1997. Earlier, the world has suffered 1930 Great Depression. So this was another one of the biggest, we can say, and non-predicted crisis in the world of 1997, because friends, they spread. You can imagine of that period. We'll go to that imagination world of 1990s to the 1997. This period for the Asian economy, it was a period of economic miracle. Asian miracles, it was telling, or we can say the Asian economy was called tiger economies. Why they are called as tiger economies? Because these economies were booming like anything at that time. So friends, it was a period of booming for the Asian economies. So they were also called as the tiger economies, because they were having economic growth rate of about 8 to 9%. These Asian economies, specifically, which are that countries that came into the Asian economies. These will be like our Southeast Asian countries, like Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, then Indonesia, Taiwan, South Korea. Then that is East Asia. Then Japan, China. These are come in East Asia, especially countries like Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Taiwan, Philippines. These were especially Asian economy that was actually affected by this 1997 crisis. So we are talking especially about these countries. So first thing. Second thing is that what was the characteristics of these countries. First point was that they were having their currency was pegged to US dollar. That is called fixed exchange rate. Like Thailand currency was baht. So $1 is equal to around, I will say, anything you can, for example, you can take 20 baht. So 1 baht is equal to how much dollar, like that you can calculate. So like that this Asian currency was pegged to the US dollar. So they were expressed in terms of US dollar, and they need to maintain that exchange rate. Second thing is that there was having a full capital account convertibility. Full capital account convertibility. In this, 1 minute. Here I will explain you about some what is meant by capital account or current account. You are aware of the balance of payment. balance of payment. So in this balance of payment, two components will come. It's a current account and capital account. Okay, this is current account. In current account, what will come? Trade. Trade means export, import. Then remittances, what will called transfer of money, remittances. This is capital account. In capital account, what will come? FDI, FII, and external commercial borrowing. These still will come in the capital account, and these things will come in the current account. So there was full capital account convertibility. It means your currency will be fully convertible or exchangeable in terms of dollar on capital account. So this was case in Asian economies. In India's case, Tarapore committee has suggested that India shouldn't have the full capital account convertibility. This was a suggestion by that committee because of this reason only, because Asian economic crisis happened because one of the factor was that a full capital account convertibility. So this Asian economy was having a full capital account convertibility. That was the second point. Third point was that full financial deregulation. This means fully independent monetary policy and full deregulation in the domestic economy. Means full freedom was given. There was not as such checks and balances on the, and no compliance that much strictly at that time followed. So Asian economies was specially characterized by impossible trinity, it was called. Fixed exchange rate, full convertibility means capital account convertibility, especially full convertibility means on current account also it was convertible fully, and independent monetary policy. These were characteristics of the Asian economy at that time. Okay. So what happened actually, that this crisis occurred from 90 to 96. You can think it was a booming period for these Asian economies. Like world economy was thinking to adopt the Asian economic model for their growth. At this speed, these were booming. At 8 to 9% GDP growth rate was there. So definitely investor will get attracted to Asian economies only. At that time, Mexican crisis was also happened from, I think, in 1994. That period, I think in 90s period, initial period, Mexican crisis happens. Then Russian economic crisis also happened. So what actually investor, they have moved out of this country, Mexican country or Asian economic country. They have moved out of this country and they were searching for the safe haven for their investment. So Asian economy was at that time booming. So naturally they will think to invest in Asian economies only. Second point also, that the US Federal Reserve, they have actually reduced their interest rate. So US economy also not that much attractive at that time for them to invest. So all investor or majority of investor moved towards the Asian economy only for investment. And why not? These foreign investor, they are only one motive, means profit motive. They want to income money. So for that they will consider anybody of their father, and they will let them out if they are not getting any benefit out of it. So that was only the happen in India's case also. Recently so many FIIs which has flown out of. So FIIs was getting attracted towards the Asian economies. So this was one part. Second thing is that Asian economies, they were actually export oriented economies. Their majority exports were there in the electronic goods, especially semiconductor. So this export oriented economy, that's why they are getting huge foreign exchange reserve, and that was also essential for these economies because they have fixed their currency with respect to dollar. In order to maintain that exchange rate, sufficient forex exchange reserve was the prerequisite, was the first thing. Second thing is that they have maintained their currency with respect to dollar, means their trade relation with the US economy should be good, because they should earn a sufficient amount of foreign exchange reserve to manage any crisis. That is also condition. This is our prerequisite, means sufficient foreign exchange reserve required. Second, good trade relation with the anchor country. Anchor country means the country with which you are maintaining that exchange rate. So that was the essential prerequisite, and Asian economies was having this at that time. So they were booming, that's why. So suddenly what happened? Now we start the causes of the actual crisis, why it gradually increase. So what happened during this case, 1997 February or before that, some signals in the economy created. For example, first thing, export competitiveness of the Asian economy reduced. Why? They were dealing in the electronic goods, especially semiconductor. So definitely if you start doing trading in single product or single domain, definitely some competition will come from another country also, like China or Japanese. They are also started exporting their cheap electronic goods in the market. So definitely export competitiveness of the Asian economy reduce, so their export income also reduce. So foreign exchange naturally will get reduced for the Asian economies. So especially this was happening for the Thailand, because Thailand was only the crisis point, where in this crisis first burst out in Thailand only. So this advantage was going. At the same time, investor was getting attracted towards the Thailand. So what, because of that there was a demand for the Thailand baht or baht, whatever you will call, that was the Thailand currency. So it was led to the appreciation of the Thailand currency, because there was a demand. The investor was interested in more investment in the Thailand economy. So there was appreciation in the Thailand currency, and because of the appreciation, again export will decline, export will get reduced because of the appreciation in the economy. So in that way also foreign exchange reserve somewhat it is gradually declining in Thailand case. Third thing is that short-term borrowing. See, this country was that much confident that there was full deregulation in this economy, Asian economy. There was financial deregulation. Domestic market has been, especially private player, has been given enough freedom to borrow from foreign country. So these so many private players, I will say trade also, those who are dealing in trade, those who are not dealing in trade like private players, and foreign our Asian economies, banks also, the domestic bank also, they have borrowed heavily from this foreign economy like USA. They have borrowed. Why they have borrowed? Because for expansion in their economy they need money, and they were confident that our economies are definitely booming, so they have borrowed in foreign currency because there was no restriction. So these so many banks or private players, they have NBFC, we will say, they have borrowed heavily from this foreign country, and they were lending in their domestic economy to like any inefficient borrower or any, I mean, crony capitalism was going on. Crony capitalism means like a bank was giving loan to their sister concern only, or what will say their relative only, or some industrialist with them they are having tie-up or any connection. So loan was not given based on the merit, it was given on the favoritism, is on based on the relationship. So definitely there will be diversion of fund also not utilized properly by that industries. So industrial output gradually start declining. They were not investing their money in investment, means in capacity expansion, but most of the currency diverting in the normal I mean what we'll say not plan expenditure, non-plan expenditure, only that money was going in economy. So industrial outputs gradually start declining. This was the reason. So short-term borrowing that was 100 or 200% excess of their foreign exchange reserve. See this 200%, 100%, this figure you can see 100% in Indonesia. This was the case. They have 100% means they are, for example, they are having 100 rupees foreign exchange reserve. 100% they have borrowed from the 100 rupees they have borrowed from the foreign country. And this was the case in Korea. In Korean case, Korea what they have done, they have borrowed 200% of their foreign exchange reserve. So like this, there was not at all control over the foreign exchange borrowing. Crony capitalism I have explained to you. Loan was given not based on the merit, but based on the identity, based on the connection, based on their mutual benefit. Then this crony capitalism like this was responsible. Then poorly regulated domestic financial market and financial deregulation. Financial deregulation nothing but freedom which is given to the private players to borrow from abroad. This was actually the mistake. They have to regulate, means some restriction or some watch should be there on borrowing from abroad. Reckless borrowing was going on. At the same time, this borrowing also not hedge. The hedging was not done because both side was confident about the Asian economy because it was booming actually. So borrower also will not think. Borrower will think that I will repay it, and sorry friends, what lender will think, they also think that definitely these are booming, definitely they will return it. So inbuilt hedging was only there. There was not as such hedging was done on both sides. That is also one of the mistake. So what suddenly started, so these 4 points what I explained you, these 4 points actually the weakness of these Asian economies that get exposed during 1997. In February especially this aggravate the situation more, means this weakness expose more, means you will say during 1997 February time US federal decided to increase their Fed rates. At the same time their Japanese economy also have done some internal domestic environment such that investor was getting attracted to Japanese economy. At that time Japanese yen also was appreciated compared to dollar. So investor was started moving towards Japanese economy or was returning to US economy. At the same time what export competitiveness was reducing. So it was thinking that now Asian economy is not performing to that extent. But trigger point started when there was a speculative attack on the Thailand currency. Speculative attack was done because what happened, export was going less, so their foreign exchange earning was reducing. So what they were their foreign exchange reserve also got depleting. Foreign exchange reserve also got getting depleting because they need to manage that exchange rate with respect to dollar. They need to manage that exchange rate. When foreign currency was gradually going on, it was getting difficult for the Thailand to manage that debt and manage that exchange rate actually. So speculative attack actually happen on the Thailand currency, that they are not in position to manage that exchange rate, and this trigger actually the wave. Speculative attack lead to the heavy flown out of the investor from Thailand economy to US economy or Japanese economy. So they were actually foreign investor was leaving Thailand. So it was lead to capital flight. Capital flight was means money was going out of the Thailand, and this led to the sudden downfall of the Thailand currency. Initially Thailand started to take measures to prevent that exchange rate, but later on it was difficult for them because of the depletion of the huge foreign exchange reserve, it was difficult for them to manage that exchange rate. So finally they led it to to freely float their currency. So here I have written allow for baht to float freely. So overall it was a big crisis situation for the Thailand economy, overall Asian economies, because this was not just confined to Thailand, it was spread also to Indonesia also, then Korea, Malaysia, Philippines. These countries also got affected in certain percentage terms. How much they are having exposure to foreign currency, that much they will get affected. Which country was affected more? It was Thailand, Indonesia. These country was affected more. What was the effect? Effect was their complete illiquid situation, totally recessionary situation come, because all investor went out the country. Now there is no investment in the country, consumer spending was less, investment in the industrial project was less, it was also come to halt. So unemployment also increased, asset prices decline, bad asset for the bank has increased because bank has taken loan from in foreign currency and they have given to the whom? The crony capitalist. So because of that project also not working, they also not getting their money back, and they have taken huge short-term debt that need to be repaid immediately, but they have not earned that much money to repay it. So their banks were also insolvent, they were in crisis only, and there was no support from the central bank. It was complete a financial deregulation chaos situation. Due to poorly regulation, bank was doing earlier reckless lending. So overall you can say their internal domestic economy was not that much strong. It was exposed after that crisis. भाई जो ऊपर से दिख रहा था वैसा नहीं था, अंदर से पूरी सिस्टम ही बिगड़ गई थी. The system was not domestically strong. Like India during the global financial crisis, we were internally strong. That's why that global financial crisis in 2008 not affected India much compared to world economy. So this was the overall the Asian economic crisis. But later on they have taken, you can say in Indonesia, their president Suharto, I think, I don't remember the name, but it was Suharto, I think. He has also resigned. He has given his resignation because of the crisis and their economic or total policy failure. He has resigned. But later on these economies, after 15 or 16 months, these economies start recovering because they have taken recovery measures. IMF also declare bailout packages on certain condition to these countries, that we will provide you finance, but you have to comply with these regulations. So many then Basel norms also, you can think in 1998, that was a period where Basel norms also started. We are going to take separate video lecture on Basel norms also, Basel 1, Basel 2, Basel 3. So Basel norms also came, so many code of conduct, then international standards came after that this crisis. Then domestic reform was taken because there was control short-term debt. Yes, that was actually was needing, and then the control came finally. Then government support with fiscal policy orientation towards productive developments means government also taking active part in the investment and doing whatever fiscal measure they can take on their part. They were taking many social security schemes, investment, health infrastructure, educational infrastructure, investment, environment, creating the investment environment, single window clearance, like that. So many domestic reforms was taken, governance reforms was taken later on. So gradually they come out of this crisis. So friends, it's all about our Asian economic crisis of 1997. I hope you people understood the crisis very well now. Now after listening this video, you can just glance through the whatever points I have written on this paper. Later on you just glance through it, or otherwise you can read, you can again listen this video in a fast forward way. Just fast forward it and listen it. So you will easily understand what was the Asian economic. It was a majority foreign exchange reserve crisis, then private sector deficit crisis. Why private sector deficit crisis? Because they have taken short-term borrowing. So friends, I hope you understand that how Asian economic crisis happened. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe our video. This is just a motivation for me to make another video. So so I will meet you in next lecture. I will start next chapter number 3 in next video series. So take care friends and goodbye.